Aragorn has been crowned King of Gondor, but will he be able to hold on to the throne and rule his people wisely? Will the heirs of Castamere be able to create a stronghold in Gondor and rally the people against the Lesser? Let's take a look at what Gondor Renewed Update 36 of Lord of the Rings Online has in store. Gondor Renewed dropped on Wednesday, May 31st, 2023. I finished all the quests and deeds in this region over the weekend in just over 9 hours. Be sure to watch to the end of this video for tips on the best places to complete the deeds. Upon logging in, you will have mail from Gondor, Herald of the King, directing you to go talk with him in Minas Tirith Midsummer. Quickest way to get there is to head to South Bree and then take the Stable Master to Minas Tirith Midsummer. I find it interesting that they decided to release this expansion in the US's summertime, tie in with the sense of summer vacations and adventures awaiting. You'll talk to Gondor and then head in to go talk to Aragorn, or Elessor as he is now known. Let's pop in and eavesdrop on their discussion.
The heirs of Castamere? Surely they were all slain during the war.
Aye, to be certain. We witnessed the death of their leader Balakor at Pelagir.
He met his end at the cold blades of the dead.
You know this to be true? Are you certain he had no sons or daughters to take up his cause?
Well,
I suppose I am not certain of that.
Well, we have our mission quest thing, and it starts by talking to Gimli at Los Arnok. As soon as you pass through the once locked gates at Ramas Ekor, you will be safely on the other side in Harland. Be sure to get the stable here because you will need it later if you want to return to the zone. The Epic Story questline takes you to the majority of the locations where side quests are, but not all. To finish everything, you will need to find the secret locations for certain quests and deeds, but more on that later. SSG has recruited several new voice actors to record key scenes in Gondor Renewed, like this one, where a man comes to terms with the loss of a loved one during the war.
my beloved Melneath. So kind, so gentle. It is no wonder she spent many a twilight away tending to this area. Nothamel. That is the name Melneath gave to this wolf-mother.
I really like the new voices, and the recordings are definitely of a higher quality as well. So it is rather noticeable when they use an old recording. It kind of makes me cringe, like someone drawing nails over a chalkboard. I'd almost prefer them not using the old generic voice lines, because they are in such a huge contrast to the new recordings. My favorite place in the new region is Imloth Malu. The attention to details here are fantastic. I just had to put the graphics on ultra high to really appreciate all of the architecture and scenery and details. They outdip themselves with this. I was also pleasantly surprised to not have to deal with lag with my settings this high. I'm hoping that this keeps up in future updates, because playing LOTRO in ultra high graphic settings is a completely different experience. Now, let's talk about loot. Well, there isn't much. Upon completing the new Epic Quest Chapter 1, you'll be awarded the King's Pony. I think he is rather cute all dressed up, don't you? The only quartermaster for this region is located at the west gate of Pelagir. Once you have high enough reputation, you will be able to barter for travel back to West Pelagir. The only other barter items are cosmetic, pets, and housing items. The new cosmetics for Elessor scouts are pretty impressive. I love the embroidered white tree on the chest of the armor. Looks really elegant and regal. The pet is a buffalo cow, and she is adorable, although it's going to be hard work cleaning up after her, I tell you. The deeds do give plenty of virtue points, so if you're trying to max out your virtues and your level cap, then this is a fun way to do so. There are also 100 LOTRO points to earn by completing all of the deeds, but more on those later. If you say pop on over to Bree and want to get back to King's Gondor, it is a bit cumbersome. At present, you first have to go to South Bree, to then travel to Minas Tirith Midsummer, then take the stable to Minas Tirith. I know, confusing, but this takes you to Minas Tirith after battle, although I don't know why they decided to remove the after battle part. Then take the stable to one of the locations in King's Gondor. I understand why they had to do this, because content is gated for after the battle. If able to, I highly recommend just setting a milestone here, or wait until you get the port from the quartermaster. The other confusing item was that not all stable locations had quests in that town. This is unlike previous questing in that area. In my opinion, SSG did this to allow travel to all the towns to ensure continuity of map locations between the before and after Minas Tirith battles. It saved them from having to do a lot of recoding to disable those. So yeah, just know that not all the towns will have quests for you to do, but they will count towards the deed. 3 main zones make up King's Gondor, the first of which is Lucernac. Here's the map and all the points of interest that you will need to find to complete the 2 location deeds. For the Slayer deeds, the best location for wargs were Galdur's Dell at 76.9 south and 21.4 west. The best location for worms were at the Erui Delta, located at 80.8 south and 24.0 west. The bees were actually best to find in Upper Lebanon, which is the second zone. You can find the bees to the west of Helak. They are plentiful in that area. Here are all the points of interest that you need to find in order to complete the 2 location deeds for Upper Lebanon. The best place to farm boars is at Boar's Wallow, located at 80.8 south and 25.0 west. The respawn rate for the boars are very high there. The Kraban, however, was a pain to farm because they are spread out, but I did find the best concentration to the north of Minlos. Lower Lebanon is the last zone that makes up King's Gondor. Here are the points of interest that you need to find in order to complete the 2 location deeds for Lower Lebanon. There is a high concentration of brigands to the camp west of Pelagar at Orlak Gil, located at 75.1 south and 36.1 west. The only place to farm the dead is at the ruins of Ithilorn at 83.8 south and 45.6 west. The boars roam the entire countryside east of Ost-Engelbed, so you can just run around the entire zone and farm them. Now let's take a look at the pros and cons. Pros. I really enjoyed getting to play level 140 landscape quests. It's been over a year since they had released endgame landscape content, and I had a blast. Really nice to be able to catch up with the core LOTRO characters, Gimli, Legolas, Aragorn, and Arwen, and go adventuring with them once again. I also thought the story was really well written. I'm not going to share any details here because I don't want to spoil it for you, but you can watch my playthrough if you get stuck. I thoroughly enjoyed the new voiceovers. I just wish that they would do more. Now the cons. The attempt to tie back to characters we'd seen previously in Lebanon was underwhelming, mostly because the characters were initially forgettable. So it kind of feels awkward when a character greets you as if they know you. It's been forever since I played Lebanon Zones, so couldn't remember any of them. Compared to other games like Star Wars The Old Republic, Genshin Impact, Final Fantasy, and Guild Wars 2, LOTRO really lacks when it comes to voiceover work. I really hope to see more of the voice acting, at least for the main storyline. They did give us more than what I had expected, but it would serve them well to adopt this form of storytelling. Reading all the quests are getting old. From time to time, quests that I came across were a bit disjointed from what is actually supposed to be happening in the world, like the time I had to go feed the pigs. But these did not deter too much from the main storyline, and can be skipped if you don't care about the deeds, or being a completionist like myself. Overall, I really enjoyed playing Gondor Renewed, and can't wait for the next chapter of The Song of Waves and Wind, and I really hope we get to have some adventures on the sea. If you are stuck on any of the specific quests or deeds, then be sure to check out my full gameplay walkthrough here. Cheers! See you next time!